Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. I welcome you. I'm your host, 𝗓𝗄, an early retired Canadian hospital pharmacist, a former Fortune 10 leader, now a business mentor and consultant in the global digital business and AI space. I'm currently traveling in Asia, visiting my family in Hong Kong. So welcome to my Believe, See, and Decide Global Live Chat series. If you're new to this channel or live chat series, welcome. And if you've been following me, welcome too. And today I have a special guest. All of you have been waiting for this special guest. She's waiting patiently behind stage. I can see her smiling. She's a Hawaii-based U.S. Armed Forces Service member. Now, she's got a wonderful story to share with all of us, and I'm going to bring her onto our virtual stage right here. And we have our wonderful Cheryl Lynn Santos. Woo!
Hi,
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Karen. How are you?
I'm good. So it's a pleasure to have you on my global live chat series. Now, I know our global audience have a lot of questions to ask you because you've got a very amazing life story, and I want you to share like who you are, like where are you from, like maybe like just share with the audience like who are you, and then we'll be able to share a little bit deeper about some of the topics that are so relevant and people are keen on knowing your insights.
Of course. Shall I start now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Aloha, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're tuning from. Obviously, it's about 2000 here in Hawaii. First of all, I am Cheryl Lynn, stationed here in Hawaii. I am a Armed Forces Service member. Sorry, guys, I'm very nervous here. This is my first live stream here. Bear with me. I've been serving for almost 22 years now. This is probably more than our 5th duty station here. I'm married with 2 amazing kids, and I am became a business owner in the past 4.5 months. Anything? Should I include anything else, Karen?
Yeah, I mean that's good. That's good.
My brain's all scrambled up.
And you know, guys, this is live, authentic, and we want to share our true stories with all of you because many of you have been reaching out and wanting to learn more because you know that you have a higher destiny. You know that you have dreams that are unfulfilled. You know that you deserve to spend more time with your loved one, and you know that there are many things that are more matter for you than just your daily grind. So that's why we're here to share our authentic stories with you. And by knowing our respective background, like professional, personal, and you'll be able to understand why both of us, Cheryl Lynn and myself, decided to build a global digital business on top of what we're currently doing. And I know that Cheryl Lynn, like your story has a very interesting beginning. Like I want you to share your story as because you're a Navy, right? And maybe share a little bit about how you became a Navy to begin with, and then we'll be able to kind of peel the onion a little bit by little and let the audience get to know you a little bit more.
Karen, that's a lot of years to go back to. Okay, we'll start when me and my friends were at a stoplight in Guam. If you have been to Guam and you guys know where, I think it's called GCIC building by the stoplight. We were just hanging out and I was like, hey, what's that white building? And they were like, oh, that's the recruiting station. So I was like, let's just go ahead and see what it's like. So we went there, we inquired with all the armed forces, all branches, and we ended up at the Navy. So we took the pre-test. And the recruiter was like, hey, you guys got a good score. You guys can join the Navy. And we're like, yeah, no, this is not for us. We were already in our mid-20s. So we kind of joined the military a little later than most people who joined at 18. So we're like, oh, it's okay. Then we walked out. Then we were talking about it on the way home. And I was like, hey, let's just try it. So we went back. We did the ASVAB. We got, our scores. And actually, my 2 friends bailed out on me. So I ended up leaving Guam. I told my recruiter, if you can get me off the island within the next 30 days, I will sign up with the Navy. But here's the catch, though. Before I went with the Navy, I was actually with the Air Force. I already signed my papers and everything. I went to church and I saw another recruiter at the church of a wedding of a friend, and he knew one family and I knew the other family. And I was like, oh my God, this is a sign for me to join the Navy. So I went and told him, I'm like, hey, I'll see you Monday morning. He's like, why? I'm going to cancel the Air Force and go with the Navy because I think you're the sign. I think I need to go join the Navy. And the rest is history. I signed up for 4 years, and I was just going to do my 4 years, excuse me, and get out of the Navy and, go ahead and do the civilian stuff because I do have a medical degree. I got it from the Philippines. It was more of my dad was like, hey, I have 2 options for you after high school. He's like, do you want to go to college? And I'm like, well, yes, of course. And he's like, okay, here's your 2 options. You can go to college anywhere you want here, but you need to be a working student. You pay your way through college and I'll help you. Or I send you to the Philippines where I can pay your tuition all in cash, just, get a degree. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather not be a working student. So I was like, I'll go ahead and take the Philippines. I'll go there. I went to the Philippines at the age of 18. I did not know how to speak the dialects, Tagalog, Pangasinan, or Ilocano from where my parents are from. And I had to learn within 6 months to a year of being in the Philippines because I could not make friends as a foreigner. Everybody was shy to come approach me. So one of my aunts was like, hey, you need to watch TV and read a comic book and learn how to speak Tagalog. And I was like, oh my God, is that going to work? And she was like, yeah, it's going to work. And I picked up the language like in 6 months and I was able to make friends. So I did a year in the province and I did the other 4 years up in Baguio City. And I was able to get my degree from there in early 2000s. We won't put out my age there. But and I joined in and I got, and here I am in the Navy. I went to Lemoore. I don't know if everybody knows where Lemoore is at. It's in the middle of California. It's a desert. Nobody likes to go there, but that was my first duty station. And I did 5 years there in Lemoore, and we were up for shore duty, and I asked to go back home. And that was supposed to be my last tour, was do shore duty and get out of the Navy. At that point, I already had my son, who was about 3 years old at that time. So we got to Guam, and then it was like, hey, I kind of like it. There were some other things going on with the military as far as staying, trying to qualify to stay in. We have all kinds of policies, whatnot. So I was like, okay, let's go see if we can get to Japan. So we got to Japan. I went on a ship there. That was at my first ship's company tour out in Sasebo, Japan. Did my 3 years there. Then we moved on to Yoko. Did about 2.5 years there, and then we got sent back to Lemoore. And now we're here in Hawaii. We're about to hit 4 years here in Hawaii, if I'm not wrong. So we're about to move soon. We're just waiting on orders where the detailer wants us to go. But yeah, my family has been there through a thick and thin. Very, very supportive husband, which I'm very fortunate to have. That he allows me to do my career and put his career on hold. So I'm very lucky and blessed.
Sherilyn, hearing your story, I mean, you're relatively young. So hearing your story, hearing your story, like, as you're sharing, I could just see images of you going from one country to another, like every 4 to 5 years, kind of get into a new culture, new habit, and your kids probably have to adapt and kind of reset every time you move, right? And as a mom, would you say that's a challenging piece to begin with, like for your kids when they're young?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, my first deployment was 7 months. I left my son on his 3rd birthday. Like the day of his birthday is when I left for deployment. So I had to mentally prepare myself for that. And that was my husband's our first time being away from one another. And then he's got a little toddler with him. So at least there was email. I think that would have helped by, snail mail. But yeah, it's hard to leave your kids back. And even though you say the longer you are in service, it gets harder every time to leave your children behind, even if they're in their teen years. So I've left both of them twice. It's very hard, and they get accustomed to moving every 3 years. A year before we're about to transfer, I kind of like talk to them, let them know, hey, mom is up for orders. I don't know where we're going. We got to see what our options are, but I want you guys to just prepare yourselves because I don't know where we're going, and I need them to be mentally prepared. And I think that's why they have the resiliency. And most military kids are very resilient compared to their peers that are non-military. And I think it's just built in them, and they understand what mom needs to do. And they've been very supportive for these past 20 plus years.
And how long do you usually have to be away from your kids?
So depending on the sea time will depend on, it can go from 6 months. The longest deployment I've been away from them was 10 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I left in 2019 and I came back in 2020 right before COVID hit. So
Wow.
yeah, it's hard, but you do what you got to do to provide for your family. I mean, if this is your only stability, and this was my only way to provide for my family early on in my Navy career, and it just became and I came to like the job that I had. So, and I'm still in the same job, and because I was disciplined, like military style, because my dad was in the Army. He was prior Army, but he did it. He was medically separated. So my brother and I were raised disciplined. So going into boot camp was like, oh, this is nothing to us. We're used to being yelled at and whatnot kind of thing. So it's like we know how to follow orders. So that made it kind of easy. And me coming in later on, in your 20s, we're a bit more mature than the young ones. So that kind of helped out as well.
Hearing from you, there are two words that pop up: Iron Lady. Like, you're the triple Iron Lady. We're not talking about just Iron Lady.
I'm an ordinary person, Karen. Trust me. I think any of you guys could do this if you set your mind to it. You just have to be, I don't know, built for it, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't say I was built for it. I was only going to do 4 years. And look, here I am. I'm going to hit 22 next month. So it's kind of like, wow, time flies. Your kids grow in the blink of an eye. And, there are so many events, occasions I missed when I deployed. That's from birthdays to their academic recognition, sports. If they needed me, I wasn't there. It was either a phone call that I had to make, or they had to reach me via email. So yeah, there's a lot of missed times in their entire life. They're in their 18 years, 15 years that I will never be able to. That will never be replaced. It's like now is the time.
Yeah, and that's usually the time when, like, as mom, like we're a fellow mom, right? That's usually a time when we pause and think about whether or not we're doing the right thing for the for the current and the future plan, right? Because I remember both my kids. I've got a 14-year-old and I've got a 7-year-old. Both of them, they're boys. Both of them had complained to me before. For working so long hours, because I work for a teaching hospital, I work for a startup, I work for corporate. And when my first child shared that, it didn't really hit me, because I was just following the society teaching, right? You go to good school, get good grades, get good company, climb all the way up to the top of the ladder. I mean, that's the norm, right? And after COVID, I think it changed a lot of everyone's mindset. COVID really shifted our thinking. There might not be tomorrow. There might not be, X years to come before your retirement. There might not be X years to be waited from your loved ones, like aging parents or even kids. Just don't know. The unknown, it's real.
Yes.
And when my second child, I was actually, after COVID, we're pretty much set no boundary, right? We work at work, we work at home, inside our home office, and I was working long hours inside my home office after work, and then my younger one was knocking hard on my door and saying, "Mom, stop working so hard and start playing with it." And it hurt me so much because
you feel guilty.
Yeah, the guilt, right? Like as working mom, we're like, we're trying to do everything for our family. Right. But at the same time, in our kids' eyes, they just want company. They want us to be around. They want us to share their joy. They want us to be present for their milestones, and they want us to watch them grow. And that really reminded me of how precious time is, because nobody can earn more time. No matter how hard we work, no one can earn extra minute, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I remember when I was working at Canadian Teaching Hospital, maybe I was born an entrepreneur, I don't know, or maybe I was my dream was so big in my head, because I remember going to work, coming back home, like the same routine every single day. And I said to God, is this how the rest of my life is going to be? I don't enjoy it. And I'm someone who always like to create solutions for a problem that I identify. And because of this trait, I end up, getting promoted very quickly at an earlier age, and then kept doing so because I want better solutions for people who I work with, right? And then fast forward, I climb all the way up to the corporate ladder, Fortune 10, like, executive and leader. I realize, yes, make a lot of money, title, reputation, success, but then at the expense of not having enough time with my kids, my husband, my family. And the most heart-wrenching part is my parents back home here. Like as we're chatting right now, I'm visiting my parents, my siblings in Hong Kong, because back in the days we immigrate to Canada. Although I was born and raised in Hong Kong, but we immigrate to Canada, and then my family didn't end up staying in Canada. So then I often have to fly between Hong Kong and Canada. So it makes it even more challenging. And I'm sure you can relate to it, because if you have family back home, then you see them every time you have reunion, you see them aging gradually.
Yeah, they age. Right? They age. Yes, they've changed over,
even changed so much.
They've changed. Yes.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is that my parents stopped coloring their gray hair and makes it even more real, And I'm like, okay, if we follow the traditional route, which is, working till 65. So let's say you add X number of years back, like as your room to reach 65, add that onto our parents' age, how old will they be? And by then, will they be physically, mentally capable of doing things that we want to do with them, right? That really is my why, and that's why, on top of what I'm doing, I've included a global digital business as part of my portfolio. Now, getting back to you mentioned about U.S. Armed Forces Service member being very disciplined. You have to have a very sharp decision-making thought process. I'm interested in learning, when was that moment that dawned on you that led you to look for a global digital business or something that will help you achieve your dream?
Karen, we all pray, right? And we all have dreams. But then, just like you said, what we see from our parents is like, okay, they work until they're 65 and then they enjoy life. And just like you, I also question myself. I question God, like, hey, is this all I'm going to get? It's like, I'm going to work every day until I retire from the Navy, and then I'm going to get another corporate job, which I have no intentions of doing after I retire from the Navy, because I want to spend that time with my family. So as we're approaching my retirement in the next few years, I asked my husband if we could do a traditional business. So that was the goal that I was going for, in a foreign country. And then we were trying to do some research, and I'm telling you, oh my God, the expenses, the logistics, it's way too much. And then just to have to travel and be in that country to, watch how the business grows, and then you don't know what the return is. So I'm like, okay, I'll put it to the back burner. And then I was like, okay. And I had gone with another business, online business, and I was already talking to somebody, but something felt sketchy in our conversation. And I was like, hey, can we just hold off? I don't want to give this payment yet. Let me think about it. She's like, okay, go ahead. I got home and I was like, I'm not even going to go through with her. I don't know who she is, and I'm not sure. It just sounds very sketchy. My husband's like, okay, it's really up to you. And I'm like, yeah, it's a small amount, but at the same time, I don't want to, lose it and be like, oh, you got scammed. So I prayed, and I'm going to tell you, one morning I woke up, I got my phone, and I was scrolling on Facebook. I've seen my friend, she's been posting about her digital business, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But that morning when I woke up, grabbed my phone and see what time, I was like, let me just go see what's on Facebook. It was her post that was on my feed. And I was like, oh my God, I got up, literally got up and was like, I think this is a sign that this is the business I'm going to go into. So I messaged her. She sent me the info. I watched a free webinar. And then at the bottom of the link, there's that step 2, and I was like, okay, we're doing it now. And I messaged her. I'm like, hey, I already did step 2. She's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes, I did. And she's like, really? And my next 2 hours was just sitting here and watching the entire informational video. And then from there, I think it was about a week and a half later, I made my coaching call, and within a span of 2 weeks, I was already in the business. And what's nice about this business is it's flexible. It travels wherever you go. I don't have to fly out to that foreign country to go check up on it. I'm in control. I can see the returns, and unlike, you know, a traditional business where you don't know if you're going to make any money or not, and you got to put out a big investment for that too as well. So we don't want to get, you know, go bankrupt or have increase more debt because of this dream. So, and this is how I ventured into the digital business. Just my friend's post, like I've seen it and I was like, okay, this is it. This is the answer I've been praying for.
Yes, it's divine orchestration. You know, when you were looking, the right answer pop up.
Yes.
There's no coincidence for sure. And that's why for those of you who are watching live or watching the replay, be sensitive to what gets sent to your attention. And if it resonates with your soul and your heart, then spend a moment to find out what that is. At least you know what it is, and you won't leave any regret, right? And Sherilyn, you mentioned about traditional business, and I'm with you 100%. You know, when I was at Canadian teaching hospitals, that was a pharmacy business that I manage and lead, right? So there are so many moving pieces. There are clients, patients, logistics, suppliers, you know, all the operational challenges that a business leader, owner would have to manage. And if you were to pursue a traditional business, you have to man that shop regularly, and no weekends, no weeknights, because you would have to first earn your first bucket of whatever money target you want.
Probably in 2 years.
So well the stats on the business magazine shows usually average between 3 to 5 years for anyone to break even in a traditional business, right? But what I've noticed is that because of post-COVID damage, the economy is still trying to recover slowly. And even wherever I travel, I see that the retail shops have been left vacant. A lot of shops, you know, they couldn't keep up, and even the malls, the owner of the malls have to keep up with vacancy, right? So we know that everybody is now going online. Even my parents, I don't want to disclose their age, but they're getting they're getting to the stage where normally would not go online, right? But they're online shoppers big time. I'm talking like big time online shoppers. So everybody.
I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them, Karen. They're doing it independently.
I'm super proud of them.
My parents, that's nice. They call me and be like, hey, I want this. Can you get this for me online? I'm like, okay, fine. I'll take care of it for you.
So because now the online space is so user-friendly, everything is intuitive. If someone truly wants to take advantage of it, then they would, just like my parents, right? So I'm like, you know, if there's no age restriction, there's no knowledge gap because it's quite intuitive, then that's the reason why everyone is going online, right? That's why the traditional business model is not working anymore, right? And that's why there are trillions and trillions of dollars on the online space that are being materialized and capitalized. And that's also one of the main reasons why both you and I decided to go online, because the audience, the clientele is so much wider. We're talking about the global reach, right? From Asia to Hawaii to Fiji to UK, right? There's no limit. We don't have to just focus on just one location, right? And I love the fact that we can keep doing what we're doing without having to be tied down to the business. And that's the beauty. And the fact that we have automation put in place. We have like a franchise in a box, a system that enables anyone to follow through at their own pace, which is why it's so amazing, because you are busy, I'm busy. You know, we have to find something that's flexible, and this address all of that. And you know, when you first started your global digital business, what was it that you hoped to achieve from this global business in terms of maybe professional growth or your financial target? What were you thinking of or aiming for?
This I'm gonna tell you, this is the job after the military, where I'm gonna plant it now, and by the time I retire, it's taken off. That's where it was, and it was to get exposure. You know, meet business partners, meet new people around the world. And, you know, I'm an introvert, believe it or not, but I am.
No, I don't believe you. You don't seem like one.
You know, I might have that confidence factor, but it's nice to just go ahead and boost your confidence more, your self-esteem, you know, kind of thing. You know, when you come from an Asian household, there's expectations and you live up to that. So now I think I'm growing on my own, actually knowing myself, like, this is what I want. This is what I probably should have been doing. You know, we please our parents in Filipino culture. We give them what they want because we don't want to get in trouble. And as you get older, you realize that, like, oh, you know what? This is probably not what I wanted, but this is probably for my parents. So it was, yes, the growth, and just to be ready that when retirement comes, the business is good to go. And, you know, we get to venture out there and travel. And the best part there is that we get to spend time with our family while the business is running. And like you said, it's also on automation, so, which is great. I don't know, and you know, the training that we receive, the Zooms we go to, just everything that we have on a daily basis. I don't know what other company or business can do this for anybody. I don't think, not even corporate ones, you know, or even the traditional ones offer this. And we're very fortunate to have co-founders that began this.
Yes, I agree with you 200%. We're so blessed with such giving, supportive business community, especially our co-founders. And the fact that everyone is looking for a way to achieve their dream, yet a lot of people have not found that vehicle to achieve the dream. This is definitely worth paying attention to. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, if we're looking for something and if it's so supported by everybody, you know, Sherilyn, U.S. Armed Forces service member, myself, former Fortune 10 leader and consultant strategist right now, and also from every professional lives across the globe, then that tells you something. Just like back in the days when internet was first introduced, a lot of people couldn't wrap their head around it. What is it? Like, what is this internet thing? But when
I was scared.
Yeah, right. It's normal to feel scared about something new, but it's not normal to hide ourselves away from something new that could serve us, our families, and the global benefits, right? So we have to do things that might not feel comfortable to begin with, because knowing that the end results will benefit so many people, not just ourselves, right? And I love how all of us are well, all of us within the community, we've been so passionate in sharing this amazing opportunity with those who are looking. You know, it is built for anyone who is willing to learn and apply. It's not for someone who wants overnight success. There's no such thing. Now, having said that, the infrastructure, the elements, the program, everything is pretty much done for you to lead you to that successful path. You don't have to learn the rope, and there's in such a way where you say, oh my gosh, this is such a steep slope to learn. No, because you get to follow video-based, self-paced training, and you can watch as slow as you want and as fast as you want.
At your own pace. Yes, at your own pace.
Yes. Yeah, because I speed watch everything, and I was able to connect the dots. And then connect the dots and start earning my high ticket commission like in a very short period. So I know that this works, and that's why I don't really care. Let's just use that word. I don't really care when people don't understand enough and then make whatever comment, right? Just like how when I first started AI, people were like, why? Like, you've been paid big bucks. Why wouldn't you accept this recruiter's offer, right? Well, because my vision is so, well, God gave me this vision. The vision is far ahead, and I see what's coming, and I don't want to be stuck with just traditional way of earning a living. Right? And as you mentioned, we only have so much time on earth, and I want to make the most of it. And I truly see how powerful this global digital business is, because in my previous live chat, I shared that the compensation model is calculated in exponential formula. And that's what caught me first. wasn't
Yes.
anything else. It was that mathematical formula. I was like, oh my goodness, this is huge.
Yes.
And for people who are still sitting on the sideline, you're missing out if you don't even
Oh,
take the step to understand it.
they definitely
Yeah,
are, especially those that inquire and they go through the entire process and they're just like, yeah, they have their comments like, okay, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. We got to keep it moving. You weren't for me and I wasn't meant for you kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
How you
Like for
feel
me,
about
I actually like partnering with those who've got the desire and the willingness to learn and be
Yes.
coachable,
Yes.
because we are all in this together. We're winning together, and
Yes.
it has to be the right fit. This
Yes.
is like serious matter, serious business that's giving us more choices, more flexibility,
Yep.
and money
Yes.
is huge, but that's not the only thing. Money
That's
can
not the
give us the flexibility. That's the
Yes.
vehicle only, right? And it can
Yes.
also help us help other families who are in our disadvantaged position. So
Yes.
yes.
Yep.
So then, I know I have a lot of question laid out for you, but like I said, we go with the flow, and
You're
we
good.
wanted to
Yes.
make sure that we share, what's truly impacting us and how this global digital business has been impacting us. Now,
Yeah.
you mentioned you've been in this business for a couple of months, Sherilyn, and
Yep.
so far, how much time are you investing, let's say, every day or week into your global digital business?
Okay, I will tell you, Monday through Friday, about an hour to 2 hours I set aside in the evening. I kind of changed that routine this week, but we'll get there in a different topic. And then on Saturday, because there's so much training on Saturday, Saturday is my business hours. So I take care of whatever I need to take care of the whole entire day for Saturday. And then Sunday evening, I got to just do some follow-ups and do some videos and then prep that up for the week. So about 2 hours, you can say, yeah, in a week, at least 2 hours is
Now, for
my
those
time.
of you who haven't been following Sherilyn, let me tell you, this Iron Lady just finished her master's degree in human resources
Oh,
management. Right? Congratulations, Cheryl.
thank
So for
you.
someone who's
Now
that
what
busy, you know,
That's a long time coming. I
you
had to
know,
push myself. I started that plan in 2014 and I stopped. And, I sat down and was like, I pushed my sailors to get a degree while they're in the Navy. In the event they decide to get out of the Navy, they at least have a degree. And I was sitting there at the office and I was like, dang, I'm telling everybody to get their degree. And here I am. I'm like, okay, you know what? We got to lock this in. So we finally did it. Finally got it. And I'm glad.
It's all about determination, right? No matter how long or how your schedule has to be adjusted. So if you
Yes.
can dream it, you can make it. What
Yes.
what I wanted to convey to the global audience is that you, as a busy mom, you're a wife, you're a mom, you're a Navy, and you have hours traveling, and then you also study part-time. You're able to squeeze this global digital business into your overall life portfolio. So that tells you
Yes.
how flexible this is, right?
It's
And
possible for anybody.
and honestly, if I had to ask you on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being extremely difficult, what would you give this global digital business in terms of score of how much you have to learn and how the concept is like? What would you score this business to be?
We'll put it in the middle, Karen, at a 5. Because when I first came in, I had this momentum. Like I think I knew what I needed to do. And only did I realize about 6 weeks ago, there was a lot of stuff that I was missing for the business. So I'll put it at a 5. And if I had known what I know now, of course it would be, zero stress. But everything comes with learning. And without learning, you're not going to be able to be successful. And there are no shortcuts. And people need to understand that. You can't just join and expect the big bucks there, the flexibility and everything else. We got to put in the work so that
Yes.
we can be rewarded nicely.
Yeah. Totally. And I love about this. What I love about this business is that we learn and earn. Like
Yes.
you and I got a master's degree. We first have to earn the degree, then we
Yes.
use the degree for higher excellence, right? But
Yes.
this business, we learn and earn at the same time.
Same time.
We earn high ticket commission, we earn knowledge, we earn experience, and the best part is that the mentorship, the coaching, a lot of like information that we learn, if we had to get it through outside market, let's say Tony Robbins or others, we have to pay big bucks. But here, it's part of our business, and we don't pay an extra dime for it. That's why it is such an amazing business.
Yes.
Because even if we had to look at, let's say, franchise, McDonald's, there's training, right? And there's additional fee you have to pay your staff to go attend the training. And that's the traditional way of doing things. And there's so, like, people would be asking, so what exactly is it? What do you do? Now, because this business is based on automation, based on video-based training, based on people who will follow through the process. And that's why we're not wasting time on repeating and sharing things that will take people time to learn about, right? Just like how people, if there's a great movie coming out and there's a trailer, people can't see kind of what exactly this movie is about, but they can't experience the full storyline of the movie. You have to sit through the 2-3 hours movie to understand the whole storyline, right? So same idea. We have all the information prepared for those who are truly serious about wanting to learn more about global digital business, and you can follow the steps at your own pace and watch it at no cost. These are complimentary because again, we chose this business because we are not salespeople, meaning we don't want to waste time sharing information that could be shared in a very high-tech way. That's about it, right? And for those of you who have been seeking and who wanted to find out more, what would you share with them, Sherilyn, one thing that you would tell yourself about this global digital business to your younger self?
To dream big. And that I just want to share a story that, the sky is the limit. No one should limit themselves. And I will tell you, if you guys go to my page, you'll see my testimony, and I speak about leaving a legacy for my children. And what comes with that, my son was 2. I hope I don't tear up here. He was about 9 months old. We were just window shopping, and there were a pair of shoes that I wanted to buy him. And I looked at my husband, I was like, okay, so get his size. We got the size and it fit him perfectly. And unfortunately, we sat there, budget was kind of tight at that time. So it's kind of like, should we do it or should we not? So we had to put it back. I'm going to tell you, as a parent, to not be able to buy your kids something, that hurts. I went home hurt that evening and made me thinking like, oh my God, like, what are we doing? Why am I in this situation? I'm a mom. I became a mom. I should be able to provide for my child. And that night, because he wasn't walking, was another reason why I didn't buy the shoes. That night, he took his first steps. So I think my son understood that, what was coming to the future. And it wasn't about the shoes. It was about, building something for yourself. And as a parent, if this resonates with you, that, you want to buy your child something and you can't, I know it hurts. I've been there. And that's why I say I want to leave a legacy, because I don't want my children to, when they have their families, to go through what I went through as a mom, where their kid says, "Hey, Dad, can I buy that?" And you're like, "No, we can't, because we don't have the funds to do so." And that's why I'm very I talk about leaving a legacy. It's really for them, not for me. I mean, everything will come with it, but the legacy is for them and for future generations, because we weren't born rich. I mean, I may have been born with a silver spoon because I was born here in the U.S., but that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean my parents, had the funds in the bank or whatnot. We're, corporate people, blue shirt people, working hard, and that's what we saw. So if you're watching and this resonates with you, and you've been there where you wanted to buy something for your child and you couldn't, and you just felt so bad, I know what it feels like. It hurts. And I came across those shoes about 2 weeks ago, Karen, because they was in the garage. I was unpacking. And I was like, oh my God, I remember this. I told my husband, "You remember this?" He was like, "Yeah." I go, "This is the time that he took his first steps." And we couldn't buy those shoes, but we bought it when he was like a year old, I think, on his birthday or whatnot. But yeah, those are things that come back to you, and you really think about your life. If you sit down and like reflect, and you just think about the life that you've led. And for me, it's been work, because this is what I grew up with. That's what my parents showed me. It was work. You traveled in the summer when it was summer break, but we didn't travel in between school or whatnot. And it was always, you have to save up for that trip. Yeah. And that's it. So now we're moving away from that. And I'm like, okay, this is not how we're going to do that. I want my kids to, live freely without, without thinking like, do I have that paycheck for next, is that just going to be for one bill cycle and I got to worry about my gas for the next cycle, things like that. And that's the reality that we all live with.
Yeah, and that's the concept that's been grind into our heads from society, from mainstream, and we know that there's a better way, and we have experienced a positive impact of this better way, and many others around the globe are experiencing the same thing. So because we're now reaching 44 minutes and there's so much yeah, right? See, I think and I think you and I are on a mission to share this opportunity for those who's feeling the pain when they feel stuck, feeling the pain when they want to do more for those who matter to them, and even for themselves. Like a lot of moms especially have no me time because they're a giver. They give, and they don't prioritize themselves. Like prioritizing does not equal selfishness. It's referring to balance. Yeah, like it's being balanced, right? Because if we don't fulfill our own needs, we won't be able to give extensively. So we have to take care of ourselves in order to take care of others in a very sustainable way. So for all of you, not just mom, like everybody who's working hard, trying to make ends meet, we're here to tell you that with the power of the digital world, the power of AI, there is such a great opportunity that we both of us have been experiencing that we would love to share with you. And if you got led to this live chat through Cheryl Lynn's page, feel free to go to her webpage and follow through the steps prompted by her page. And if you got led to this live chat through my channel, then feel free to go to my website or just DM us. Like DM us to find out more about what this is. We understand that the cyberspace is filled with both bad people and good people. So you have to do your due diligence. Don't just trust everything you see online. That's the first step. But the second step is do the research, right? Do your research and look at 2 master graduate. You think 2 master graduate would be silly or stupid enough to get into something that's not going to be results producing, right? Like we've gone through so much, and we know what we see, and obviously both of us pray to our Almighty God, and God answer our prayers. So again, don't let the mainstream or the old way of doing things dictate how your future life is going to be, because there's a better way. So pray and seek, and your answer will be revealed to you. So we're here for you. Feel free to DM us, and there's so much to be explore. And with the 45 minutes, 60 minutes, it's hard to unpack everything. And if you're someone who's seriously looking, you'll be able to watch through all the information and understand whether or not this is for you. So take the next steps and find out, and your future self will thank you. So on behalf of everybody, on behalf of Cheryl and myself, we thank everyone who tuned in now, and for those of you who are watching the replay. And remember, there's no coincidence, and you only get to live once, so make your life worth it and build the legacy that your family matters, right? Okay, take care, everybody, and God bless you. And Cheryl and I will stay behind stage, but watch the replay if you wanted to, listen to our story again. And God bless you, everybody.